Hey, y'all. Hey, this is Dr. Samaria Colbert. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm a published author. I have over 16 years of experience. I own a private practice called Kingdom Creative Counseling. I've written over 60 books. Okay, and my goal is 100 in the next 5 to 10 years. And I just recorded like literally a good 20 minutes of this video before I realized the sound was not on. So we're gonna do part 2 of 10 reasons why you should not be loyal to toxicity. I'm gonna try. I have another client coming up, so I'm gonna try to knock this out in this session. I will not be part three this. So if I don't get all the information within the next 40 minutes, we're gonna move on to the next thing next time. We talked about in our previous session, we identify how what loyalty is and how we can be loyal to other things that are toxic. That's not just people. We talk about a principle, a belief system, an environment, a political system, and so on. We talked about how loyalty should be questioned. We talked about how we talked about you would just go. We talk about sometimes people are not really loyal to you. They're loyal to what you offer. Like you offer, you have influence. You know, you're a responsible person. They need someone to take care of. They're entitled. They don't like you as a person. They like with the benefit of being you. I was listening to, and I said in our last session, I was listening to someone on YouTube, and I don't remember his name, but he was saying sometimes people are loyal to you because they know you're a good person and you're a person of integrity, and it benefits you to have them a part of your life, but they don't really like you as a person. And so, what else did we say? We talk about ways you should not be loyal, okay? And so, yeah. I'm gonna tell myself don't talk fast, Mary, but we got a limited amount of time. But let's continue on 10 ways we are loyal. Let me give you the story of a snake. It was a man who went to this event, and while he was there, random people just kept coming up to him. They kept saying, "Hey, look like you're a nice person. Just remember, don't talk to the snake." Okay. Another person comes up to him as he's going along. "Hey, look like you're a nice guy. Don't talk to the snake." Random people. Another person goes by. "Hey, how are you? Looks like you're a nice guy. Don't talk to the snake." People kept warning this individual, "Don't talk to the snake." So it intrigued the guy. And he said, "Why are people talking to me about a snake?" So he went and saw the snake because he kept saying, "This got to be some type of snake." He gets there and look at the snake. And he's like, "Oh, it's not so bad." He looks around, sees, "Oh, it's kind of nice." Then he starts talking to the snake. He goes, "Huh, you're not so bad after all." People have just prejudged your snake. Eventually, the man takes the snake home, and they become great friends. The man befriended the snake after he'd been warned multiple times, "Don't talk to the snake." One day, out of the clear blue, the snake bites the man. Turns out the snake was venomous. It was poisonous. It was a python. It was meant to suck the life out of him. As he was dying, he was more hurt from the wound that the emotional wound, than the actual physical wound. As he was dying and he could sense the breath leaving his body, he was he looked at the snake, and the snake is not even offering him help. The snake is sitting there with the snarling look on his face, and he's saying, cold look in his face. And the guy looked out with passion in his eyes and betrayal in his heart, not understanding why. He said, "How could you? How could you? I was a good friend to you, Snake. How could you? How could you try to kill me?" And the snake looks at him as he's dying, not even offering him a hand. He looks at him and he says, "Because I'm a snake, and I do what snakes do." You cannot befriend someone who has the mentality of a snake. Come on here. You get the analogy. So watch this. You can't base your watch this, of loyalty alone on anyone or anything. So we believe in the principle of loyalty, which is a very good one. It's really commitment, it's trustworthy, it's reliability. I scratch your back, you scratch my. We understand the principle of loyalty is good, but you cannot offer that because it is a gift to just anybody. Just like you can't offer your body, your heart, your mind, your spirit, your relationships to anybody. You should not offer your loyalty to somebody or just anybody just because they express admiration for you, right? So point number one, why people are loyal to toxicity is that we offer commitment to someone or something that is slowly destroying or hurting us, right? If you should not offer loyalty to this person. Again, if someone that we offer our commitment or our loyalty is slowly destroying or hurting us. Remember, if helping you is hurting me, then I shouldn't be loyal to it. Again, I talked about in our last session how if you really truly are being led by the Holy Spirit, He will just help you to lead you into all truth. Leading you into all truth also it means leading you into areas where there could be a potential for deception. Okay. No one's going to intentionally, most people are not going to intentionally offer their loyalty to something that's deceptive, a demonic agenda, a demonic person who has a demonic agenda, right? We're not going to do that, but no one's going to come up to you and say, hey, I'm a real toxic person. I am a worker of iniquity. I'm committed to your demise. Like no one's really going to say that. No one's going to say, I really don't even like you. You're not my person. You're not my type. You are, your righteousness is offensive to me, but I'm going to hang out with you because you're successful, because you got a platform, because I just need a place to stay. Stuff like that. They're not going to say that outright, right? You have to discern motives. Point number two, you can't offer loyalty to someone that hasn't. You cannot offer loyalty to someone that has shown you that they are not loyal to you. Remember, the best indicator of of future behavior is previous behavior. And I've said this before, and I think I did like the dating one, and I think I did all kinds of videos and books. I don't always remember where I said what. Okay, but you have to look at how people they treat other people. Even the least of these things. If someone is at, like I told you an example, one of them long time ago, I was at a restaurant with a minister friend of mine, and she was dishonoring the waitress. That's a huge red flag. Being disrespectful to the waitress. It was a group of us. How they treat people, even their enemies. How they treat people in their life. If someone has a long history of being dishonorable, disrespectful, and disloyal to people from their past, you are next in line for that miracle. But let me tell you what we think. Well, I'm a good person, and they ain't never gonna do me that because I'm just good. And people just don't treat me that way. Well, give it time. Give it time. I'm telling you, people always they show you the hand after a while. It is when you are a pretender, eventually everything that goes on in the dark will come to light. And it's not that they turned their heart. They was like that. They were like that all along. All right. Point number three, you cannot remember this, being responsible to someone is not the same as being responsible for someone. If we are friends and I say, hey, this is my commitment to my goals and my dreams, and I need a partner so that we can iron sharpens iron so that we can hold each other accountable. If I say I'm gonna go to the gym every day this week, I need you to call me on Saturday or please just be my accountability partner so I can meet that goal. That is an example of being accountable to someone. But sometimes people interpret loyalty to mean I am supposed to be responsible for someone. And that's when we start taking on the parenting role of a grown person that should have been, doing this themselves, right? So we're not paying bills and helping out people on a regular basis ongoing who is well-bodied and able. There are some people that look for people because they just want people to take care of them. There are people in life, y'all, that are looking for people to take advantage of. They're looking for people to defraud, to steal. Okay, this is why the enemy said the Bible, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. They are people who are looking for people to take advantage of. And again, they're not going to walk with a big old red t-shirt. I'm a bad person. I'm only here to take advantage of you. What are they going to try to do and get in your ear? I told y'all last time the 7 levels of deception. I would tell it to you now, but go ahead, go back and look at our YouTube videos, and I'll tell you what they are all in your face. He can. All the while got an agenda from the jump. These people don't change. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that these people have not changed to turn their hearts away from you, they were like that all along. They were pretending. And it's very difficult long term to hide jealousy, envy, and strife. You can't be loyal to someone like that. Okay? You are not responsible, grown people. You are not responsible to take care of grown people. Okay? But again, I know people like that. You know people like that. They're entitled and they're always looking for somebody to bum off of, someone to take care of them. It's almost like their minds haven't matured past the fact that I am past 18, I'm 30, 40, or however above that they are, or even 20s, and it's someone else's responsibility to take care of them. There are people in life that think because they had a bad life or a bad childhood or something bad happened to them in life, that it is someone else's responsibility to make up for what happened to them. No one is responsible, or life owes them something. And they think people that they feel like were handed, even though they haven't been working hard, because you got it, they supposed to have it, because life owes them something. And you cannot be loyal to someone that is entitled, that is messy, and feels like life owes them something. Just because you had a bad childhood and you went through things in life, nobody owes you anything. At best, you may be owed an apology, but at worst, you more than likely won't get it. Never forget, I was talking to a beautiful young lady many years ago. She said, my life changed the day I realized I was waiting on an apology I would never get. You have a decision to make. Are you going to move forward? But you cannot be loyal to somebody that is waiting for they have a Cinderella complex, and they think because my childhood was bad and somebody owes me something. Now you end up trying to pay a debt you never borrowed. You trying to fix something you didn't break. You can't be loyal to people like that. It'll never be enough. The goal marker is never enough. You meet this goal, they gotta have another. And it's a reciprocal cycle. It's always something you've done wrong, always something they're complaining about, always some need they had. You help them out one time, you're gonna help them out again, you're gonna help them out again. Now you end up having an adult grown child. All in the name of loyalty. Don't do it. Okay? All right. Hold on. Okay, you shouldn't be loyal to if your loyalty obligates you to things that you should not be obligated to. Anything. Don't co-sign on a loan. Don't co-sign on a home. Don't co-sign on a car. Don't obligate yourself to anything that you are not obligated for. It's going to cause you more stress, anxiety, and worry. Okay, you should be loyal to stress. Okay. You cannot be loyal to anything that does not have any defined boundaries. Remember that. Just because we said we loyal to each other does not mean that anything goes. You can treat me any old kind of way. There's no bound. Remember, all healthy relationships have healthy boundaries. Now, boundaries are not the same as walls. Walls, no one gets in, good, bad, or in between. We are talking about healthy boundaries. And just because we have a commitment does not mean you can talk to me in your kind of way. You can treat me in your kind of way. You can only call me when you want something, I need something, I borrow something. I know people like that. Can I have that mind? Can I borrow? Before I cut them off and block them, I will still be their cash cow. And any other time, I wouldn't hear from them for months. So I say that because not because I'm using social media to justify things, because some of the things I talk about, I've been through. I've been that loyal chick that was loyal to somebody that couldn't even pick up their phone to see how I'm doing. But I'm on my not my deathbed, but when I'm feeling like the world is caving in and they want to call me, checking on me and say, hello, how are you? Just thinking about you. But as soon as I don't answer my phone, I'm a snob. I'm this, that, and the third. I'm everything but a child of God, because I'm not available at your a beck and call. But you can just go live your best life. Don't even call me for months until you understand what I'm saying. So people are like that. And the more you begin to value yourself and know who you are as a person, there's certain things you're not gonna put up with. I'm not the type of friend you gotta call me every single day, talk to me multiple times. But don't do that, because I'm not your friend like that. I just that's not how I show up in life. I just don't. I can really love you as a person, and I don't have to talk to you every single day. That's not who I am. There's some people who are like that. They think you gotta be loyal to them. You gotta call them every single day and talk to them 4 times, 6 times a day, and they just doing the absolute most. There are some people that are like that. This is not that ain't the type of friend I am, okay? So I'm not saying that to be extreme, but I am telling you that you just gotta, you just don't. I talked about the last one. You cannot be loyal to dishonor or disrespectful treatment. And you got to keep telling the same person the same thing over and over and over again. I'm going to tell you once. If I got to tell you 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times, you meant that thing. All right? You cannot be loyal to someone who has a lustful spirit. And you remember, you can lust after, lust is not always sexual. But remember, lust is never satisfied either. So money, power, respect. That's what Lil Kim said we need in life, the rapper. Money, power. She had a song out with a different, this back in the 90s, and she said, money, power, respect. That's what we need in life. So that's so random. That's so random. But our point I'm making is you can be lustful for money, you can be lustful for power, you can be lustful for respect, you can be lustful for obviously sexual lust, you can be lustful for admiration, you can be lustful for you can be lustful because you just want people to worship you. I mean, there's million and one things you can be lustful after, but remember, lust is never satisfied. That's why it is difficult for someone who has a loyal heart, loyal spirit, to be lustful, to be loyal to someone who has a spirit of lust attached to them. The goalpost is never met. You get you meet it one time, they give you praise, then there's something else. And it's never enough. They're always gonna have something wrong, something you did, some way you out of pocket. It's always something else. Don't be loyal to people like that, right? All right, let's keep moving. You should not be loyal to someone who's unbridled emotion. That means no self-control. So remember, guys, just because men and women, just finished reading a book called The Power and Purpose of Women by Dr. Miles Monroe. It's really, really good. Now I'm starting to read the book, The Power and Purpose of Men by Dr. Miles Monroe. Love the book so much, I've got to do the one for the men. And so, but what he was talking about in that book was how women and men, we process our emotions differently, okay? So it's really important that just because women tend to be emotional beings, we tend to feel, we're worshipers, it does not mean that women have their emotions out of control. A woman can control her emotions. It's called self-control, okay? A brother can control his emotions. It's called self-control. Men tend to be more logical. Women tend to be a little bit more emotional. This is why we worship and we feel and we're very detail-oriented. Well, man, you have to appeal to his logic. He thinks he's a problem solver, things like that. And we kind of, if you meet the right whole person, you tend to balance each other out in that way. But don't think just because a woman is crying because she's emotional, that means that you're not dealing with a manipulative spirit. A woman that is whole understands how her emotions work, and being emotion, she's not driven by her emotions. She does have self-control. So you should never be in relationships or loyalty to someone who has unbridled emotion. They're always crying, they're always needy, they're anger management issues, and they can't control their tongue. Okay, all right. All right. Sometimes you just outgrow relationships, is what I said. So watch this. When I was in college, true story, y'all, I went to Bennett College. I did not graduate. For those who know, I didn't graduate from Bennett College. I ended up graduating from colleges in Maryland and then DC, because I'm from Maryland and I graduated from Howard University. Okay, just love me some Howard. I just thought I'd throw that in there because I'm very proud. Howard University graduate, and I think they have a homecoming coming up, and hopefully I get to go. Okay, but mind your business. Don't be mad because you didn't graduate. I'm just joking. Joking. Okay, so when I was in college, I was at Bennett, like I said, I didn't graduate there. At that time, we used to catch the Greyhound bus. Do they even have Greyhound buses now? We used to catch the Greyhound bus. And so home weekends, I didn't have a car. Bunches would get together. We would catch the local Bluebird taxi cab. Okay, back in this long time ago, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so we would catch the taxi cab to the Greyhound, and we would catch the Greyhound bus home. Sometimes we would catch the Amtrak home. Was it Amtrak? Anyway. But anyway, on my way there to my little section in Maryland, they had different stops because to get to North Carolina, you had to go through Virginia and then you had to get to DC, and then you had to get to Maryland, DC, and then Maryland. Okay. And so even though a group of us were going in the same direction, watch this. I'm coming to my point here. Some people get off at the Richmond stop. Some people get off at the Danville stop. Some people get off at the DC stop. Some people stay on. Now the Greyhound bus will go all the way up to New York. Okay. I will get off at the Maryland stop. Okay. Now, when one of my classmates, now I can't remember her name, who was riding with me, when she got off at the Richmond stop, I didn't get upset and offended and started crying and crying, we ain't friends, we not loyal, what's wrong with you? And going through all kinds of changes, because her home was in the Richmond area. She was getting off at her stop. I was staying on because my stop was much further up. I had to be on that train or that bus a little bit longer. Okay. And then I would either get off. So sometimes I would get off at the DC stop and have my parents pick me up there. Sometimes I would just go on to another stop that was close to where I stayed at. I say all that to say, that's how relationships are. Every relationship is not going to be a lifetime. Sometimes relationships only teach you certain things. I was thinking about some of the women earlier today. My mind just thinks, y'all. And I was thinking about some of the women that really poured into my life as a teenager, and then how I went away to college and I met one of the college chaplains that was really good to me. And then I had my godmom, who was still part of my life, who I've known me since I was 14 years old. And I say all that to say, like, there's some relations that are lifetime. But there's some relationships that come into your life and they're only meant to teach you what you needed for that moment. There's some relations that were never sent by God in the first place. But we still learn the lesson, because all things work together for the good of them that love God and are called according to his purpose. It's all going to work together for our good. But what I'm saying is that oftentimes when that person needs to get off at their stop in life, the spiritual stop, and because their home is in a certain place, we get upset or offended because we think we're supposed to be on this journey, on this train forever. But just like my classmate had to get off at the Richmond stop and I had to stay on till I got to my stop, that's how life is. We may start off going in the same direction. It doesn't mean one person's wrong, the other person's right. Sometimes we are not meant to travel this road together. I had to get off at the Maryland stop, but my friend, I don't remember anyone on a train that had to go that far to New York. But there were people that are from New York. But my hypothetically speaking, I didn't get upset or offended because you had a different stop. You had to get off. You were going in a different direction. So that happens in the natural, in the spiritual. It happens in the natural. Sometimes people are not going in the same direction that you are going. Sometimes they are, but their stop is different. And we cannot try to keep making things happen and work that just don't work. We are not meant to be on this road together forever. You had to learn what you had to learn. Now it's time to move on. Why keep dwelling and staying stuck in the past for something that's not where they're supposed to be at in the first place? There's something, let that person get off their stop and go and move on. All right? Sometimes there's some relations that you outgrow. There's some people that I don't hang out with now because in their mind, I'm not 40-year-old Samaria. I'm 15. In their mind, 15-year-old Samaria. See, 15-year-old Samaria wouldn't speak up. She wouldn't say nothing for herself. She would put a little head down. Now, if you come out of pocket, I'm going to check you in a nice, but professional, godly way. I'm still going to check you. And just based upon the fact that you think I'm little Samaria that can't say nothing, you think you can say whatever you want to me, and it's just not going to happen. Don't be loyal to your past, because it'll stop you from moving forward into your future. You cannot be loyal to toxic friends or toxic exes. Exes are exes for a reason. An ex-friend, an ex-lover, an ex whatever job. It is an ex for a reason. Okay? So I don't believe in being friends with exes. You are exiting this situation. And oftentimes, the reason why you have problems in your current relationships, or that you won't don't have a relationship is because you keep entertaining exes. If a person is exited your life, whether it be through force of choice, they are exited for a reason. It's called bye. You cannot have your life focused on the past expecting the future to show up. You cannot be looking behind trying to move forward. Sometimes God can't move you forward because you're stuck in the past. You cannot be loyal to your past. I do not believe in being friends with exes. I think if you refer to your ex as a friend, you have a problem. And I'm the type of person where if you are friends with your ex, you are not friends with Samaria or anything else for that matter. Because we don't do past things. Period, point blank. All right, don't do it. All right, remember everybody, and I said this in our last teaching, is not going to be committed to your growth. And there's some people, they're not going to be, I don't know how to really explain it. They're just not going to be committed to your growth. They just not. They not, auntie, they not. And it is their prerogative not to be. You cannot force it, right? You can't force it. So you just have to let things go and move forward. I would mention the celebrity, but it's a local celebrity. Well, he's not a local celebrity. You ever had an ex-business partner just won't let it go? I'm just saying. Okay, I'm not gonna give you that because I don't want to be messy. But the person's always on. Okay, let me just say that the person's always doing different interviews about how wrong their ex-business partner was and what he did, X, Y, and Z. The person is moved on. Some people are just not committed to your growth and they just won't let it go. They just want to stay bitter. Sometimes we stay loyal to not offend. Let me say it again. Sometimes we try to stay loyal to not offend. So you had that conversation. It's not me, it's you. I think we should just be friends. You said I said point number 9. We're not friends, period, point blank. You just have to move on. You'll be fine. It's not gonna be the end of the world. But sometimes we don't want to have that ending conversation. This is not gonna work. I wish you the best. That kind of thing. Not, oh, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. I wish you the best. Let's still be friends. Like, no. So it's just say this is not gonna work. I wish you well in life. God bless. And keep it moving. But sometimes we just don't want to be offensive to people. So we just try to friend them, and that's not gonna work. Okay, so let it go. Let it go. Okay. Let it go. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. Ecclesiastes, this is a very serious topic. Okay. Don't make light of it. Okay. But Ecclesiastes 5:2-3, New Living Translation, it says, don't make rash promises and don't bring hastily. Don't be hasty in bringing matters before God. So don't make rash promises. I'm gonna be with you forever. No, you're not. Okay. We're gonna, don't make promises, because lots of times people want to hold you to those promises. But guess what? If you are a human being, you can break promises. I know I promised it that to you 100 years ago, but I changed my mind. So I'm sorry I made you that promise. I did change my mind. I'm very sorry about that. You do not have to. Well, I made you a promise, therefore I had to stay committed to it. No, you don't. You can change your mind. I'm so sorry that I made you that promise. But the Bible don't make promises hastily. Don't do it. But if you made a promise to someone years ago and the promise is not still staying, the only promises that still stand are found in God. People can break their promises. I'm not telling you to do it, but they can. Okay. All right. But you promised me. I changed my mind. Okay. That's that. After all, God is in heaven and you are on earth. So let your words be few. If you have to let someone toxic person go, don't be sitting there going, well, this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is the reason why. Abraham did not have these good long closing conversations with his nephew Lot. about, like, you're very toxic, and I know I raised you correctly, and I know your parents passed away, and I know that was very difficult for you, and itemized. He didn't have an itemized list of why he had to let go of his nephew Lot. He just says too much tension between us. Sometimes you do too much trying to explain things to people. They are not going to, whether you go line by line, detail by detail, or whether you just don't give no details at all. They just don't care. They're not going to hear what you have to say anyway. Let your words be few. Okay, too much activity gives you a restless dreams, and too many words make you a fool. Come on here. Too many words make you a fool. All right. So those are 10 reasons why people are loyal to toxicity. And the best thing that you can do is very simple. Remember the words that I said before. Let it go. Thank you, Jesus. All right, Dr. Samaria Colbert. You can check me out at www.drsamariacolbert.com. If you want to have a list of my training courses, go to www.trainingchristianleaders.com. And then if you want to register for therapy because you're trying to overcome the long-term effects of toxicity, I didn't tell you that sometimes, even if you let someone go, it may take a process of healing. Now, the process is not forever, but the minute you decide to let someone go, because oftentimes they'll come in and out of your life, things like that. When you finally make that decision, sometimes there's a little bit of a process that may have to happen, and therapy definitely helps that process. So you can go to www.kingdomcreativecounseling.com. You must be North Carolina resident. We do accept most insurance. So do not email me. Do not text me. Do not DM me. Do not try to get a hold of me on any type of social media platform that is in compliance with HIPAA and laws that govern confidentiality. You can just go to the website. And if you're not located in the state of North Carolina, this is not sponsored. If you're located in a different state, go to www.psychologytoday.com and find a local therapist that is in your area that can assist you in being able to process through the long-term effects of toxic people. God bless you. We'll be back in the day. Another time, another banger. Goodbye, y'all.